Welcome back, fight fans. Welcome back. Let's just dig right into it. Steven Espinosa, Deontay Wilder has made it very interesting statements coming out recently. And Steven Espinosa is basically saying, let's get back to making the biggest fights for Deontay Wilder. The biggest fights will happen. And I find that very interesting. Since Deontay Wilder, if Deontay Wilder truly wanted the biggest and best fights, and that was truly his intention, then tell me why he turned down over $100 million to face Anthony Joshua on DAZN. That makes absolutely no sense. That's transcendent generational wealth. And he turned that down for no apparent reason to fight Dominic Breazeale for pennies on the dollar, which makes absolutely no sense. He turned down guaranteed money. You have to understand there's a few things about Deontay Wilder that a lot of people doesn't realize. And that's the first thing is Deontay Wilder is kind of injury prone. He had issues with his bicep. He has issues with his hand. And so you don't know, and especially in a combat sport such as boxing, that biceps and hand injuries, once you injure those things, they may never be the same again. So they can shorten careers as well. So if that's the case, if you're Deontay Wilder and you have an opportunity to get, generational wealth, why would you not take it? If you're Deontay Wilder and you're probably the worst fundamental heavyweight world champion boxer that has ever existed in the history of boxing, why would you not take guaranteed money? Because you have to understand that for Deontay Wilder, when he fought guys like Arthur Spilka, he lost rounds. When he fought guys like Gerald Washington, El Gallo Negro, he lost rounds. When he fought other guys like Eric Molina, he lost rounds. And against Tyson Fury, in my opinion, he lost at least 10 rounds. He lost rounds against Luis King Kong Ortiz. So it's not that he lost rounds to lower level competition, B level competition, and then in Tyson Fury's case, he lost rounds to A level competition. So he's losing rounds to every level of competition that he faces and is relying solely on his right hand being a one-trick pony to bail him out. And that will fail him eventually. In my opinion, it failed him against Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury went through the entire fight and the right hand and got up from his right hand twice. So what does that tell you about his power as well? His power and pop is elite, it is top level, but when you face top level opposition, things like that happen because Deontay Wilder had a lot of energy taken out of him, and he took a lot of punishment from Tyson Fury, lost a lot of rounds, and he clearly lost that fight. They clearly robbed Tyson Fury of that fight, but that's okay because we have to be honest and unbiased when we analyze the fight. And at the end of the day, Deontay the Bronze Bomber Wilder is not an elite overall fighter. He has elite punching power. And so when you know that you're a one-trick pony, why would you not take guaranteed money? Because then what happens is your story turns into when cherry picking goes wrong. Because what's going to end up happening is, since you lose rounds often to lower level competitions, what happens when you lose rounds to a guy like a Dominic Breazeale, but a guy who can knock you out, who's seen your flaws, who has a personal vendetta? I'm not saying Dominic Breazeale will beat him, but what happens if he does? Then that changes the game for Deontay Wilder, because at the end of the day, Deontay Wilder can't afford to take a loss, and he's arguably the most vulnerable fighter in boxing today for the simple fact that he has terrible fundamentals. And you can't box forever with terrible fundamentals, because eventually it catches up to you, because all you need is a guy, at least a B-level guy with decent pop, to put you down, because he's going to hit you with the shot that you don't see. And Dominic Breazeale has that kind of power. He's not an elite level puncher, but you don't have to be to knock someone out. Dominic Breazeale is a brawler, and he can knock Deontay Wilder out. Will he? I don't know, but he has to get to him early and often. He has to put so much pressure on Deontay Wilder, and I'm not talking about sloppily run in, but I'm talking about engage him early and often, keep the jab going, put Deontay Wilder on the defensive, make him fight off his back foot, make Deontay Wilder uncomfortable early, and go for the knockout within the first 4 rounds. I think that would benefit Dominic Breazeale the best, because the longer that fight goes on, the more time you give Deontay Wilder to angle up and size you up with that big right hand. I think it's clear that Deontay Wilder doesn't want to make the big fights. It's clear that Deontay Wilder wants to stall out the fights with Anthony Joshua. He's already stated that the Anthony Joshua fight will happen at the right time. And who will only say something like that? A guy who's avoiding the fight, because he's controlling when and he will not. And when he will not sign the contract to face Anthony Joshua, tries to label Joshua as the ducker when Wilder's the clear ducker. Wilder's the one who's walking away from $100 million plus. And the funny thing is, you had all these fanboys making all this hoopla about a fake $50 million that Anthony Joshua was supposedly offered. But the funny thing about all of that is simply is that when Deontay Wilder walked away from double the amount, and he actually had a contract and a legitimate deal and a legitimate offer on the table, and you didn't hear a peep. At the end of the day, we have to be honest and unbiased. And being honest and unbiased, Deontay Wilder does not want the big fights. But once again, it's the IBFP. Please share, like, and you must absolutely subscribe.